Hey everyone, I'm Kai, and today we're going to be checking out the DemonFX Reverb and Delay Workstation. So I should mention this pedal is on loan to me from Affordable, but since no money has changed hands, this review is not sponsored nor is it biased in any way. There will be a non-affiliate link to Affordable's website in the description box down below if you'd like to purchase this pedal for yourself. Quick disclaimer, a couple of negatives before we get into the video. While this pedal does have a stereo option, there is something of a volume drop to the delay specifically, so I'll be running it in mono for this video. The reverb also clips quite easily, so be sure that you're not running too hot a signal into the front of it. All of the knobs, the foot switches and the jacks feel sturdy, so no real complaints on the build quality side of it. So the price of this pedal, this is currently £80 on Affordable's website. So this pedal is unashamedly based on the Keeley Delay Workstation pedal. However, given the sheer quantity of digital components at play here, I'm gonna guess it's a pretty loose clone. With that being said, I am going to treat this pedal as if the Keeley version doesn't exist. Rather than see how close it is to the original, I'd like to see instead if it's a good pedal in its own right. With that out the way, let's get into some tones. For the setup in this video, I'm running my Yamaha Guitars RevStar RS820 into the Mua Preamp X2, then into the Reverb and Delay Workstation. So strap in because this one is going to be a long one. We've got 8 reverbs and 8 delays to check out. Before we get into the controls, I've got a basic plate reverb and analog delay loaded up. You pick which reverb and delay you'd like to have selected by using the select knobs. Let's start by checking out the delay. The delays all share 3 controls: blend, time, and feedback. So the blend will be your wet to dry signal ratio. All the way down will be just your dry guitar and all the way up will be just a delayed signal. Let's hear what that one's doing. We'll leave that blend control up near 50% or so while we mess with the rest of the controls on the pedal. The next control is the time knob. This controls the time between each of the repeated signals. You can either use the time knob here, you can use the tap tempo foot switch, or you can connect an external foot switch if you'd like. The next control we've got is a feedback control. This controls how many repeats you hear. Typically, I like to set this one up for sort of 4 to 5 repeats, but this does go all the way from 1 repeat up to infinite repeats. Now before I talk about what the Morph Controls do, I'd like to go through the reverbs and show you the global settings for each of the reverbs. So again with the reverb we've got the same blend knob. This is just your dry guitar at 0 and the wet guitar at 100%. The decay knob controls the length of just the reverberated signal. This is also controllable by using an expression pedal in the back. The pre-delay controls how long it takes before the reverb kicks in. This can be particularly useful if you don't want the reverb to cloud up your dry guitar signal too much. Personally, I quite like the pre-delay down quite low. So as I mentioned previously, both the reverb and the delay have morph controls. These are individual to each of the different algorithms in the unit. So for example, on this plate reverb, the morph controls how warm the signal is. For the analog delay, the morph controls the modulation on just a delayed signal. Okay, let's quickly hear what the delay and reverb sound like together now that I've dialed them both in, and then we'll go through all of the other algorithms in the unit. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every different combination of delay and reverb, since that would be 80 different combinations, and you know, this video is already going to be long as it is. So we're going to go through all 8 reverbs, all 8 delays, then we're going to go and pair some of these together and see what we can come up with. Alright, let's go. Before we get further into it, I just want to say if you're enjoying this video and you like what I do, please consider dropping me a subscribe and a comment. I would really appreciate it and it really helps out the channel. Okay, let's run through each of these delays. Delay number 1 is a slapback echo. This is a super short burst. The morph control here adds a little bit of room reverb to give it a sort of sense of space. Delay number 2 is a tape delay. This is a vintage sounding, very heavily degraded, warm sound. The Morph adds some brightness to just the delayed signal. Delay number 3 is a multi-head delay running 2 different delayed signals at once. This is based on the Binson Echo Rec. The Morph control here controls which delay heads are selected. You can choose to mute one of every 3 delayed signals. I quite like it where you just mute the first and then the second and third notes come in. Now we've already touched on delay 4, the analog delay, so we'll skip ahead straight to delay number 5. Delay number 5 is a digital delay. This is incredibly straightforward and simple. Digital delays repeat your sound cleanly with no sort of degradation. The Morph control is for the modulation. Delay number 6 is a subdivided delay. This is another digital delay, except you can choose the exact subdivision of the note, which means you can tap in stuff like dotted eighth notes. The penultimate delay is this ducking delay. This one will only kick in when you stop playing, and the Morph control here controls the threshold at which the delay will start kicking in. So with the threshold on 0 here, this will act like just a normal delay, but as you start bringing that threshold up, it will start to duck. Okay, so we've made it to the end of the delays. This last one is a pitch delay. Now, I'm not too keen on this one at all. The pitch algorithms are incredibly weird, and they also take a long time to register. So let's hear what this one's like. Oh, for the morph control on this one, when it's past halfway, it's an octave up, and when it's below halfway, it's an octave down. Let's now hear the octave down. Yeah, so it's kind of a weird feeling when it's just a delayed signal that's getting the effects of the pitch, but you know, it might be useful for someone, and if you liked it, then you know, by all means, you enjoy it. Now back to the top we go. We're going to go through these reverbs instead. First up is a spring reverb where the morph controls the sort of drippy, splatty reverb sound. That is a pretty good sounding spring reverb, I am enjoying that. Next we've got a chamber reverb where the morph controls that high-end sparkly sound. Reverb number 3 is a hall reverb where the morph controls the warmth. So the next reverb is the plate reverb, which we've already been over, so now we're going to go for the shimmer reverb instead. This is again relying on those pitch algorithms, which I wasn't too keen on with the delays, but let's hear what this one's doing. Next we've got a flanged reverb sound, which is a heavily modulated sound where the morph controls the modulation depth. Weirdly, the next two reverbs are delays. I suppose this is more useful if you're wanting to run two delays into each other. These are just repeats of the tape and digital from the other side of the pedal. So I guess now it's time to dive into some of the combinations with both sides of this pedal. First, I'm going to try the Subdivided Delay into the plate reverb. Let's try the multi-head on that 2-3 pattern into a spring reverb. For the final pairing, let's run a delay into another delay. We'll use the slapback delay in the delay section and then the tape delay in the reverb section. Okay, so that concludes my full review and demo of this Reverb&Delay workstation from DemonFX. I do like the tactile nature of this pedal quite a lot. Instead of running through menus and sub-menus and using digital software to, dive through and create your own presets, you've really got the classic experience of messing about with an effects pedal. I will say, however, that the sound isn't quite what I'd expect to be for a pedal at this price point. If this pedal was sort of £50–60, maybe I'd understand it, but at £80, this pedal is difficult to recommend. I think especially with the volume drop issues in stereo and not being able to run too hot a signal into it, I might have to say to give this one a pass. However, if you are someone that's looking for that tactile experience and you're only really planning to use this in mono, then this might be for you. This is probably the cheapest all-in-one experience for someone looking for that pedal feel. Issues aside, this pedal would be worth the price for what it is. So while I didn't entirely gel with this pedal, I encourage you to make up your own mind based on the sounds that you've heard and decide if this pedal's right for you. And if you did like it and want to purchase it for yourself, please do so from the link in the description box down below. Just a reminder, that isn't an affiliate link. I receive no sort of kickback or compensation for it in any way. I would just appreciate it if you could support Affordable out, as they've been loaning me these pedals for demo purposes. So that is everything that I have for my demo of the DemonFX Reverb&Delay workstation. Please drop a comment below letting me know what you thought of it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Kai.